Talking about you mentioned big challenges. I know you've had big challenges on a personal level with your mum as well. I thought that would be a great place to segue into that, because I'd love you to share a little bit of what's been going on there.
My mum, who's been my most amazing supporter in my whole life, she had an aneurysm 3 and a bit years ago, and was left, so that's a massive bleed in the brain. And I'm sitting in the ED and I know that my mum's in deep trouble because she never complains about anything, and she's in screaming pain. She'd collapsed on the floor in the morning, and I knew there was something major, but I didn't know anything about anything at that stage. And so I just went into deep research mode and started studying everything I possibly could about this and quizzing as doctors, nurses, whatever I could find. And she was in and out of a coma for the next 3 weeks. They didn't expect her to live, but she did live. But when she came out of the coma, she had nothing. She was not much over a vegetative state. She had a few words that she could utter. She had no control over any bodily functions. Her right side had been paralyzed during an operation that they'd done, a coiling operation, and she was also unable to, she didn't know what her hand was, or that I was a daughter, or any of those sort of things. She was in hospital for 3 months in the rehabilitation, and then they said to us, look, she's not going to improve. You have to put her in a hospital level care institution, and she's never going to do anything again. And I just went, nah, that ain't happening. And the whole time I was studying and trying to find answers for brain injury and what I could do with her. And I came across something called hyperbaric oxygen therapy. And this actually ended up being a miracle for her. And because I'd done a lot of stuff at altitude, I understood what happens when you don't have enough oxygen in the body. I'd done some stuff in the Himalayas. But been studying this hyperbaric and trying to find a place where I could get access to a hyperbaric oxygen chamber. And this is what they use for divers, right? So I found the company that would let us use their chamber. And I went to them and I said, can I use this situation? This is my research that I've done. It's very beneficial for brain injury. Would you let me use it? And they said, yep, sign a legal waiver, get sign off from your neurosurgeon, and we'll do it for free. And for 33 sessions, we would be there for 2 hours a day, so 5 days a week, which was the protocol that we'd worked out at 1.5 atmospheres. And after 33 sessions, she started to wake up and come back. She started to be able to talk a little bit. She started to have little bits of memory and a flicker of intelligence behind her eyes. She started to, be able to move herself just a little bit. And then I was like, right. Then they had to take the chamber off overseas, and I lost the access to it. And so then I mortgaged the house and I bought a chamber, and I installed it in our home, and I put Mum through another couple of 100 sessions, and huge thing to do. And as she started to come back to us in this process, I started to staying one step ahead of her in the rehabilitation process. I started studying things like functional neurology and physio and nootropics and, the diet changes and everything I could possibly do. I had to teach her everything. It took me 1.5 years just to get her to be able to roll over in bed. It took me so long for her just to be able to sit, because she would just flop. She had no balance, no idea of where her body was in space. So I had to teach her then every step of the way there would be new problems that I'd come up against. But long story short, 3 and a bit years later, now my mum is full back to normal. She is driving the car. She's got a full driver's license.
No way.
Full power of attorney back. She's an intelligent woman again, as she always was, and you wouldn't know she's got anything wrong except her balance is a little bit, she's a bit slow with her walking, and a little bit, which we're still working on. And I want 110%. That's what I want. I want her to be better than she was. And I won't give up until she gets there.